Well, I think to start at the beginning, Schneider Electric is a global specialist in energy management, in particular with a particular focus on solutions. And at the heart of those solutions is energy efficiency. And if we look at this worldwide dilemma that the planet faces, that is that by the year 2050, the demand for energy is going to double. The demand for electricity is going to have doubled by then as well. And over that same period, if we want to save the planet, we need to reduce CO2 emissions by half. So Schneider believes that one of the best ways we can address this dilemma is through energy efficiency. And we offer a number of products, but more importantly, solutions around this particular, around energy efficiency. So including energy audits. And that's, for example, when we consult with a customer, and it can be anything from a simple walkthrough to a very detailed audit report, looking at how a customer is using energy, when they're using energy. Is there some savings to be had by perhaps using energy at different times of the day when the tariffs are at lower rates, through to deploying solutions like power factor correction. I think one of the important things is to use is to put in meters first, so we can understand exactly what the customer's usage patterns are, and then there's some low-hanging fruit. So, for example, you can deploy things like low-energy lights would be a good example of a low-hanging fruit where you can save some energy quickly. But the real benefits come in when we start looking at active energy efficiency management, and that's like when we do things like HVAC control, automated lighting, building management systems, and so on. Then you sort of bypass the human behavior part of it, and it becomes automated. And that's when you can really start to see 20–30% cost savings in terms of or energy reduction. This is the first COP event that I've actually attended, and I've been here for a few days, and the conversations have been very interesting. I think one thing is missing is that one thing that we need to do after COP17 is to really speed up on execution. I think we're not doing enough fast enough, and I think that's going to involve active participation from a number of parties, from the private sector, from the NGOs, from the government. I think there needs to be legislation, and that seems to be quite a generally held opinion, I think, and it's going to be really important. I think that a lot of the solutions around, say, energy efficiency are already in place. A lot of companies, we have things like smart mobility, smart grid, smart water. A lot of these solutions already exist. What's missing sometimes is the connection between them and the integrated systems. And it's going to require that companies in the private sector, but also governments and NGOs and so on, work together and share the information that they have. I think it was the CEO once upon a time of HP that said, if only HP knew what HP knew, they would be way ahead of where they were at that particular time. And I think the same can be said about energy efficiency, smart cities, and so on. If we all knew what we all knew, if we shared and collaborated on that information, I think we'd be moving a lot faster than what we are today. Schneider will mainly be involved there, for example, with the charging stations. But I think electric vehicles propose an interesting dilemma, and that is, if we think a few years into the future, we're going to have maybe millions of electric vehicles on our roads. In the morning, people are going to get into those vehicles. They're going to drive to work. They're going to plug in to charge. They're going to drive home. They're going to plug in to charge again. So what we're going to have is we're going to actually have energy moving around. It's going to become a lot more dynamic, and we need to make sure that our grids and our infrastructure is smart enough to accommodate that kind of movement in energy. And I think Schneider is going to play quite an important role with developing solutions that can enable that kind of dynamic behavior with energy.